Oh, I forgot. I thought we did that already.
All right, at this time, we will call this meeting to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Anson.
Here.
Trustee Doro.
Here.
Trustee Myers.
Here.
Trustee Landwehr.
Aye.
Trustee Swenson.
Here.
Trustee Walsteiger. Here. President Pfannerstill.
Here. If you'd all rise, I'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we have public comments for items that are not on the agenda, if anybody would like to make any. First item on the agenda, consideration of a motion to approve special village board minutes of the February 20th, 2019, and the village board minutes of the February 25th, 2019 meeting.
Second.
I
been-
got one correction.
Been moved and seconded, discussion, go.
Okay. On the special meeting that we had that I wasn't here, you got Ann
Yep. I was gonna say-
excused instead of me.
I was there. Okay.
Yeah,
What can you say?
not that it makes that much, but,
Oh, yeah. I was gonna bring that up. Thank you.
okay.
The correction will be made, so with the corrections, any other discussion on the minutes? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Next item is a consideration of a motion to approve the vouchers for payments in the amount of $3,510,819.93.
I move we pay the bills for $3,510,819.93.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to pay the vouchers. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. The next item on the agenda is a consideration of actions related to licenses and permits. That is for, this is bartender operator's license that expired June 30th, 2020. This is for Louis Jacques, Haley Jasinski, and Alyssa Steckner.
I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Those are granted. On the next item on the agenda, we have a second reading of bill for an ordinance number 225-2019-01, an ordinance to amend the official zoning map of the village of Hartland.
If I could just make a comment here, as obviously this is second reading, no action for you. This matter is scheduled for a public hearing in front of the village board on the 25th, although I did just understand that the owner in this case is going to ask that the matter be tabled by the Plan Commission for at least a month. She's going to be gone and wants to be there for that conversation. So probably at the, so the Plan Commission will undoubtedly honor her request and postpone it a month. On the 25th, the village board will be asked to open the public hearing and continue it to the end of April and table the third reading of the ordinance.
Okay?
Okay.
So that process will come to you in 2 weeks.
I didn't realize we had a first reading of it. I thought that it was just a discussion at the last meeting, that there was no reading or anything like that because it was going to go to the Plan Commission.
Well, okay, then you say, right. The
There
Plan
was.
Commission asked for an opinion on if I read it right. Otherwise, I agree with you. Well, we did have a reading on it.
I recall, if I may, I recall that we set the public hearing, but I don't recall a first reading.
That's what I recall as well.
Okay,
It says first reading right on our notes.
it does. And that's fine. Regardless, the next reading will come in 2 weeks, and you'll be asked to table it for a month at that point anyway, so.
Okay. All right.
I don't know if it says first reading, but
The next item on our agenda is consideration of a motion to approve award of a contract to Payne and Dolan for the 2019 paving program in the amount of $1,713.53.
Also move.
If I could interject, well, go ahead. Actually, no. If you mind, if I can interject before you
Interject
make that
before I
motion?
make the motion. You're gonna exempt some of the properties?
I am. I'm going to strike it down a little bit, that figure. There's a note on your table. Part of this project included paving of the, I refer to it as, many of us refer to it as an alley, some the pedestrian way, some the Ice Age Trail. Regardless, it's that swath of asphalt between Palmer's and Silver Leash that leads to the bridge, that leads to the parking lot, and is the trail for the Ice Age Trail. For a while, we've had it as a project to pave that and do some other work down there with the two property owners. They're not ready to spend the money yet, so I'm asking the village board to just eliminate that part of the work. It was bid separately, so it's an alternate that we can just drop and not award. What we'll do is try to get with the owners this summer and talk that through. This is probably the second time that they've decided not to move it ahead. So I think we need to talk with them a little bit about the project, whether it's still something we want to pursue or if we need to modify it in some way. It's not inexpensive for them. It's not, it's only about $17,000 for the village, but it's significant dollars for them. So I think we'll have to take a look at that. But regardless, as my note to the board says, the staff recommendation is now the base bid amount of $1,169,224.48.
Because we should keep working on that, because that's the bad way to try to get to our parking lot. That's a zoo. I mean, at night, you don't get anybody going down that alley and across that bridge. But
Since the motion hasn't been made yet, is there some way that we can adjust that we can get the walkway that we necessarily need through that without having to mess with the other parking lots?
We probably could, but still, it's a $17,000 investment by each of those owners. And we
That's
have
just
to
our
make sure.
portion, just for the middle section? Because
So-
we're talking about pads on each side.
Correct.
If we're talking about just a 17 or 20-foot pass between the Ice Age Trail that goes right to the bridge, between both buildings,
Right.
and then if they want anything on the side, they would have to pay, but we could just put that section through to make the Ice Age Trail
Why
work.
don't we pay for it?
That would let us
Yeah.
pay for that Ice Age Trail.
I agree.
We could. That would be $51,000, if my math is right.
so then instead of walking up
Just
the
for
alley,
that
you
20
go,
feet of 100 yards?
Right. It's roughly $25 a square yard to put. In this case, it calls for concrete, but it's roughly 25 a square yard, or 23 to 25 a square yard, even if it were done in asphalt.
well, then you wouldn't have to go through that alley, then you walk around the back and go across into the parking lot, right? I mean, that's where the Ice Age Trail goes around, comes out the side there, don't it?
No, it goes up in between Palmer's and
It
Silverleaf,
goes down through the alley.
and then
Yeah.
over the bridge.
So either way, you gotta go in the alley.
We got two things going on, you guys. We have to approve or
Yeah.
not approve the paving, but also I think that we should get this item on the agenda for how we're gonna handle that alleyway. It sounds like that's been an issue for some time, and that way we can start, hacking at that. and
Long time.
Getting that addressed. So if we could have that on the next agenda as an item.
Sure.
Does the board feel comfortable with that? We'll actually have it as its own item, so we can really open that up for discussion. But what we have now is this paving, so we'll, this is for all the other projects, not including that alley, because I think that that's gonna be something we're really gonna have to put our heads together and work on, so.
So you wanna approve it with that, without this $1,160,000?
No, the 1,169,224.48 is the new number
Okay.
with that alleyway omitted from the number or
Okay,
subtracted.
okay. Okay.
Somebody gonna make a motion?
Or not make a motion, then we'll have to bring it up again, right?
No, you got two motions going here.
We don't have any motions. We don't have any
Well, I mean,
motions.
what are we going on, the paving first?
We're not talking about the paving. We're gonna put that on, it's not on the agenda. So we're
Okay,
putting
then-
that on a different agenda. That's gonna be on next meeting's agenda.
I understand
We're just
that.
talking about the amount on here, on if we wanna approve the paving.
Yeah, less the alley.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But
That's
that's
what
this is the number less the alley.
Okay.
Well, then I'll make a motion that we approve the Payne and Dolan contract in the amount of $1,169,224.48.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the paving for Payne and Dolan, not including the alleyway or parking lots
So
on the Ice Age Trail just to the north of, between the bridge and Capitol Drive to the north of Capitol Drive. Discussion.
Have we, it keeps going up every year, this paving contract. Are we getting to the point where maybe on like Merton or someplace like that that doesn't have underground utilities, we might want to think about concrete instead of asphalt?
Interesting you bring that up. Literally earlier today, we were talking about that very concept. It used to be that the difference between asphalt and concrete was very significant. That
Yeah.
is the price difference. That's not as much the case anymore. In this bid, they're probably within a couple of dollars per square yard. And so there may be some real benefit to going to a concrete finish.
Well, if we
because
don't
of
have
its
to
life.
dig it up for utilities, isn't it like 40 years versus 20?
Yeah,
Roughly.
I mean, you're talking in that kind of magnitude, yes. And frankly, even if there is a need to cut up for utilities, because a patch for concrete is a much more durable patch than for asphalt. It used to be that the price difference was so significant. So I think I mentioned to the village board as part of the budgeting process in 18/4/2019, that as part of the capital improvements plan conversation that's scheduled for this summer, we would have to be talking about some of those decisions. At that time, I wasn't thinking about concrete versus asphalt. I was thinking really about different kinds of asphalt work. But I think in this summer, we're going to have some of those conversations because, as you point out, it just continues to get more and more expensive to maintain our roadways.
And if we can get something that'll last twice as long, then we can do smaller hunks and maybe hold it down. Wishful thinking, I know.
Well,
Or at
whatever
least-
you do, as long as you got the infrastructure corrected, because that's what we did years ago, and I want to go back years ago, and the infrastructure went to hell. And when Wilson came in here, it took him, the village, about 10 years to get our streets into a program that they weren't like some neighboring communities. Because we never did anything with them years ago. We took,
I'm sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
How does salt affect concrete versus blacktop?
It eats the finish off.
Well, I'm just wondering, would concrete, it sounds like it'd be better in the long run, but I'm thinking about putting salt on it, as we have to up here. Which wears better with salt on it?
Do you want me to?
Go ahead.
I'm waiting for you to chime in.
There's a big difference between the way they pour a road and the way you pour residential.
Okay,
Residential concrete, in order to make it pliable and easy to work with, you add more water to it, so you're putting it at a higher slump rate than you
Okay.
do road work. Road work is normally at a 2 to 3 inch slump, no more than that, and then the state inspects the concrete also as you're pouring.
so you're saying it'd be thicker and,
So, not that it's thicker, but because there's not the water in it,
okay,
the concrete is actually stronger. You're mixing it with a higher bag mix also.
okay,
So it's curing faster, and the salt damage is minimal on the concrete roads compared to like your driveway that was poured by some schlup that didn't know what he was doing and added, ran it out at a 10-inch slump because he wanted it self-leveling because he didn't know what he was doing. You put salt on that, it's going to destroy it,
I
and
know,
it's going to
that's what
come
I was asking.
apart.
Yeah,
But the roads are poured in a different way. It's used with a different mix. It's a lot stronger, more durable. And what Dave said too, the price between AC and concrete, the Portland is to a point now where well, I always thought concrete was a better deal because it lasts so much longer. Busting it out and re-pouring it really doesn't take much more time than it does with the asphalt. So as far as patchwork goes, you're still much better off patching concrete than you are asphalt. Because the asphalt has a tendency, when you patch it, it's the corners crack off it easier, it moves around more, it gets destroyed a lot quicker, which deteriorates the road around it faster too. So we would be, in my opinion, we're much better off going concrete.
Okay.
Most of Milwaukee's streets are concrete, most of the state highways are concrete, and they use way more salt than we do. And as Jeff mentioned, it is a different design mix,
Okay.
and most driveways that you see deteriorating are because of chert or stone in the concrete that will absorb water, and it pops and freezes.
Okay.
They're poured shallower than a street would be poured.
I just want to make sure that the salt, you know, because obviously we put salt on our roads, and that's going to affect it in a more negative way. But it sounds like it'd be a much better way to go all the way around for the roads.
Well, they bigger bag mix too.
Yep.
My driveway was poured, we poured them in a 5-bag.
Yeah, and our curbs are poured 7, and in the driveway approaches that we have to get on quickly, it's poured at a 9-bag mix.
You can drive on it that afternoon.
Wow.
48 hours,
Yeah.
you know, versus 7 days.
But the salt takes the finish off is what the worst thing is.
Well,
But I
not,
think-
not on the higher bag mixes, it
No.
won't.
But I think it still comes back to two things. One is, do we want to have the Ice Age Trail path, or do we want to have the driveways and everything else? And we want to have the Ice Age Trail run through there, and if the business owners don't want to have their pads or anything else added to it, then fine. But I think that we kind of got a responsibility, we're an Ice Age Trail community, we've got to make sure that that Ice Age Trail goes through there, and we have to do it the most efficient way as possible.
I agree with you, and that's next meeting, we're gonna have that on the agenda so that we can talk about that stuff. With the motion that we have now, it does not include that.
Next summer, we'll talk about concrete roads.
Well, no, we can talk about the concrete roads, you know, anytime we have it, we just gotta put it on the agenda.
Well-
Right now, we just gotta know if we wanna,
We need to get the paving done for this year, but
We just did.
we
didn't vote yet.
We didn't vote.
Any other comments on that stuff,
Okay, Now
guys?
we had the motion first, and okay.
You seconded it. I
Yeah.
first it.
We're all good? All in favor of $1,169,224.48 for the paving? Aye.
Aye.
No,
All opposed?
no.
Nay.
That motion is carried with 2 nays and 5 yeas. Announcements.
What did you want to do?
I should have left.
Good evening. Dave Dean, the fire chief, handed out a flyer to you earlier prior to the meeting. The fundraiser for the extrication team is Saturday, March 23rd. It'll be a great time. It's from 5 to 11 at the Rustic Manor on Highway 83. We have fantastic events planned, live music by Crossfire, lots of raffles. We even have a happy hour and a food truck there with plenty of options. It's our 7th annual, and would certainly love to see you and the public there to support our fire department. Okay, on another note, I did not, just so you know, I didn't wear my sunglasses. Some of you know the inside joke of, and my kids and my extended family, sometimes my passion, when I put my sunglasses on, my passion sometimes runs out. So I'll get through without my sunglasses tonight. Just want to take a moment this evening to reconfirm my commitment to the village of Hartland and the citizens that we serve. I'm passionate about this community. I took an oath to protect and serve this community 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I want you and the community to know that we have a group of dedicated professionals that are proud to serve. I will continue to work hard and make any adjustments necessary to operate a successful fire department. I would like to share a motivational saying that I keep on my computer monitor that I look at every day. Good, better, best. Never let it rest till your good is better and your better is best. This isn't a job for me, this is my career as I start my 24th year of service to this community with a total of 31 years in the fire service. I am committed to do what is best for this community. I would like to thank the citizens of Hartland for the overwhelming support of cards, letters, phone calls, and visits that I have received. It's definitely humbling. And our mission statement and the fire department vision statement has not changed, and I would like to close with that this evening. The mission of the Hartland Fire Department is to provide the best, highly trained and responsible members to protect and save property and lives in our community. The vision of the Hartland Fire Department is to continuously advance our team of emergency personnel through higher education, experience, and resources in order to be a leader in delivering emergency services to the Lake Country area. We will continue to operate, we will move forward, and we will be stronger for it. I appreciate your time, energy, and support as well as your faith. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief.
Top that.
Just wanted to touch base. Many of you heard about an event that we kind of helped kick off this past Saturday for Emma Mertens. She's got an inoperable brain tumor. It was actually an event that was coordinated by West Allis K-9 officer, Jeff Zintek. He got the State K-9 Association together. They had 30 K-9 officers come out. We met here in the boardroom Saturday morning, and then we escorted them over to Emma's house and had a wonderful event. She really seemed excited and was glad that all the K-9 officers that could come out. This is starting to get some national attention. I actually got some calls from CNN today regarding the event. The K-9 Association really wants to make this about Emma and not really about recognition for them. So I think they are going to provide some information, but they are trying to keep it about Emma and not about themselves. So if you saw 30 K-9 squads from all over the region, that's what that was about this past Saturday. And then one other thing I wanted to mention is we got our grant for a live scan fingerprint device through the state of Wisconsin, so they'll pay 90% of this device. And what that will allow us to do is to gather fingerprints through a digital format and then send that electronically to the state of Wisconsin. So as we're doing it now, we're kind of doing it the old way of ink on the fingers and rolling it on the paper. There are some inefficiencies when it comes to that, including sometimes the prints aren't readable and then we have to redo them. With the digital platform, it will immediately tell us if it's a readable print and it's fairly accurate. You can still get it through once in a while, but for the most part, it will get that right away, and then you can redo it and get a proper submittal right away. So it will bring some efficiencies to our operation. And all in, it's a roughly just under $16,000 piece of equipment that the state will pay 90% of it for us. So it'll get us current with our technology when it comes to capturing fingerprints.
Great, good.
That's all I have.
Awesome.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks, Chief. Anybody else?
Comments?
Announcements?
Is it time for us to make a comment about something too? or-
It's announcements.
How about the newspaper article on Chief Dean? I'm appalled. It should have never been written that way. The headline was wrong. I would like to make a motion, I don't know if I can or not, to get rid of the Freeman as our newspaper source.
You could ask
I
for it
don't-
to be on an agenda.
Yeah, on the agenda,
Would be a-
can we put it on the agenda, please? I don't feel that our newspaper should be the one that promotes lies about one of the greatest citizens we have in our community. And I don't trust anything they write now after reading that article and that headline, so.
Well, that shouldn't even
I
have been
wouldn't-
put in the paper, and that's
No,
what.
honestly, I
Yeah.
won't even line my bird cage with that newspaper.
Maybe we need to send them some reading glasses. So they can, when they read stuff, they know what they're reading.
Well, the thing is, that was supposed to have been brought back to the board, and that just bugged me to no end that all of a sudden we got something going, and I find out what goes on the board by either walking downtown or picking it up in the paper. We should have known that that thing was going to the paper before it went to the paper.
I thought we were gonna get the report as well.
That's what he
beforehand.
told us. He was supposed to come back and give us something on it, not throw it in the, I said, that's the worst report I've ever seen. I wouldn't recommend that outfit to anybody anymore. But that's my comment.
So we got an agenda then for next meeting, okay.
Any other announcements? I'll entertain a motion.
I motion we adjourn.
Say, what about our meeting, before we adjourn, if I forgot? What
We're
about
probably
our,
gonna, we're gonna postpone it. We'll end up postponing it.
well,
We have a meeting set up for Wednesday, but we're gonna postpone it because the board can't all be there.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
getting at, Joe.
I'll send an email to you, Darlene, tomorrow on it.
Okay.
So we're,
Any other, we're done with announcements. We had two people make a motion. Which one wants to be the second of those two that made the
I'll
motion?
be the second. I don't
All right,
care.
it's been moved and seconded that we adjourn this meeting. All in favor? Aye. This meeting is adjourned.
So Wednesday,